Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources. Updating daily noontime New York City.
BBC News Business.
January 5th. 11:16 America, New York. Who is striking? How Friday 6 January's walkouts will affect you. What you need to know about the rail strike and other industrial action, by the BBC's Zoe Conway.
Global economy.
January 5th. 11:13 America, New York. The consumer strains in the UK's era of less for more. Customers may not be able to keep up the spending while juggling high energy bills and rising mortgage costs.
New York Times Business.
January 5th. 11 o'clock America, New York. Tesla sales in China slump as competition intensifies. Worry about the carmaker's sales in the world's largest car market as one reason the shares have plunged. Tesla's sales in China fell sharply in December even after the automaker cut prices.
Daily FX Market News.
January 5th, 10:30 America, New York. Gold prices, ZAO, USD, battered by USD strength ahead of NFP report. Gold prices have fallen after an impressive rally ahead of tomorrow's NFP report after FOMC minutes bolstered demand for the US dollar.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
January 5th. 10 o'clock America, New York. FTC proposes banning worker non-compete clauses. The agency says regulation is needed to block a practice that has spread across the economy.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
January 5th. 10 o'clock America, New York. Consumers keeping up with cell phone bills despite economic strains. At an AMP. T isn't seeing alarming behavior changes, and Verizon says it isn't seeing impact from late payments.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
January 5th. 9:58 America, New York. Americans can't stop pampering their pets. Companies want in. Firms that cater to humans adapt to the animal world. Ultrasounds for tree frogs. Telehealth for Stella.
Global economy.
January 5th. 9:37 America, New York. Eurozone's construction sector hit by rising costs. Decline in home building is a bad omen for the bloc's overall economy.
Marginal Revolution.
January 5th. 9:25 America, New York. Shruti Rajagopalan and Jahnavi Nilekani podcast. In this episode, Shruti speaks with the excellent Jahnavi Nilekani about India's high rate of C-sections compared with vaginal births, problems with maternal healthcare, the present and future of Indian midwifery and much more. New York Times Business. January 5th. 9:16 America, New York. Bed Bath & Beyond has substantial doubt about its future. The home goods retailer said weak sales and slower foot traffic has forced it to consider options for restructuring, including bankruptcy. The retailer estimated that it would record a loss of $386 million in its latest quarter.
Daily FX Market News.
January 5th, 8:30 America, New York. USD, JPY at key confluence area with US data ahead. USD, JPY eyeing a host of US data to provide a catalyst for its next move. Will we see a trendline break or a fresh low being printed?
The Library of Economics and Liberty.
January 5th, 8 o'clock America, New York. Jeff Hummel on the wealth of slaves and slave owners. In response to my post about Jeff Hummel's article on slavery, U.S. Slavery and Economic Thought, in David R. Henderson, ed. The Concise Encyclopedia of Economics, commenter Warren Platt quoted one part of Jeff's article and made a lengthy comment.
New York Times Business.
January 5th. 7:45 America, New York. Kevin McCarthy's business ties complicate his rise to power. To land the House Speaker position, the California Republican will have to win over opponents who question his ties to Silicon Valley and his commitment to right-wing causes. The House divided.
BBC News Business.
January 5th. 7:44 America, New York. Keir Starmer. Labour would repeal new anti-strike laws. Reports suggest ministers want minimum service levels in the NHS and on the railways during strikes. Daily FX Market News.
January 5th. 7:26 America, New York. FTSE 100 Technical Outlook, running into a zone of resistance. The FTSE 100 is touching a fresh multi-month high and looks set to challenge last year's peak.
Marginal Revolution.
January 5th, 7:25 America, New York. Is America suffering a social recession? Anton Sabalo documents a decline in sex, friends and trust. Here's a few points I found of interest. I had come to think about church membership in America as pretty much fixed around 70%. That was true for decades but not recently.
BBC News Business.
January 5, 607 America, New York. Iron Maiden release limited edition postal stamps with Royal Mail. English heavy metal band Iron Maiden have been honored with a set of 12 commemorative stamps.
Global economy.
January 5, 5:53 America, New York, when wage inflation is good for you. And some New Year readings on the biggest economics themes affecting us. Finance and economics.
January 5, 5:16 America, New York. Will investors have another awful year in 2023? There is a lot of unfounded optimism about.
Finance and economics.
January 5, 511 America, New York. Imagine an India without hawkers. A great informal economy appears to be formalizing.
Marginal revolution.
January 5, 254 America, New York. Are scientific breakthroughs less fundamental? From Max Kozlov. Do note the data do not cover the very latest events. The number of science and technology research papers published has skyrocketed over the past few decades, but the disruptiveness of those papers has dropped, according to an analysis of how radically papers depart from the previous literature.